The lack of a paid maternity leave policy in the United States creates many problems for women, and as a result, their choices are narrowed. Generally, women are left with two options: either keep your job or raise your child. In Woman at Point Zero, Firdaus, along with all of the other women in the novel, are faced with an injustice: limited choice. Firdaus's choices are limited because in Arab society, women are treated as inferior to men. This quote from Woman at Point Zero shows how women are treated inferiorly to men. It says that men force women to sell their bodies at a price and that the lowest paid body is that of a wife. This shows that women really have no choice in their standing in society. The men force themselves on the women, and the women have no say in where they are. I used the idea of women's limited choices in Women at Point Zero to develop the idea that unpaid maternity leave in the United States results in difficult and somewhat impossible decisions for women. Papua New Guinea, Swaziland, Lesotho, the United States, and Liberia. What do all of these countries have in common? Well, for starters, none of them have a paid maternity leave policy. Why is this? And why is America included in this list? An article from NPR gives the reasons for why the United States is different in their maternity leave policies. The first reason is because American viewpoints of striving for greatness don't really support policies like paid maternity leave. Another reason is that after World War II, many European countries took a huge hit in their population, so they wanted to promote births. On the other hand, a lot of American soldiers returned home, so women stopped working. And this created less of a reason to create policies to help women stay in the workplace. Formed in 1993, the Family Medical Leave Act guarantees up to 12 weeks of unpaid leave for qualified family and medical reasons, with job security, of course. The FMLA has actually been pretty unsuccessful. It only covers about 60% of American workers, and it covers less than a fifth of new mothers. Only 39% of workers can take unpaid leave for the birth of a child. And only 11% of workers are covered by formal paid leave family policies. Although there is not a government-sponsored paid maternity leave policy in the United States at the moment, 3 states have adopted and implemented paid family leave. These 3 states are California, New Jersey, and Rhode Island. The United States is the only developed country that doesn't offer government-sponsored paid maternity leave. Another problem is that many Americans lack access to leave policies that meet the evolving needs of today's families. The addition of a policy for new mothers would greatly boost employee morale across the country. An article from the New York Times says that in 1999, 74% of women worked. But in 2014, 69% of women worked. This decrease in women working is due to the fact of an insufficient policy. 61% of non-working women said family responsibilities were the reason why they were unemployed. There are many women that would consider going back to work if there were more flexible conditions. But that isn't really the reality. The reality is that most are still stuck in between choosing their occupation or raising their children. Sweden has 480 days of paid maternity leave. Canada has about 52 weeks, and the United Kingdom has about 20 weeks. With this in mind, I interviewed one of my teachers, Anne Murray. Anne Murray had 2 kids in the late 1990s. While she was out, she used her sick days that she had saved up. And because she was able to use her sick days, she was paid. But if she didn't have the sick days, she wouldn't have been paid. As a teacher in the Rock Hill School District, Anne Murray believes that a policy for paid maternity leave would be good, and it would help people that were less fortunate. Anne Murray said that she was lucky that she had her mother to take care of her children for her. If that wasn't the case, she would have had to put very young children in daycare at a very early age. And this is a very real reality because the current policy that the United States has does not support the care for young children unless you have money. So I tried to create a solution that would give new mothers and fathers the ability to have everything that they wanted. And I tried to make it so that their choices were more open. The first step to the new solution is to get rid of the part of the Family and Medical Leave Act regarding maternity leave. The policy that I created is known as the PMPLA, or the Paid Maternity and Paternity Leave Act. This act would provide for new mothers and fathers in equal ways. This new policy would provide 17 to 52 weeks of leave for new mothers and fathers for each child that you have. If you worked a full-time job for 6 months in the same place, you're entitled to at least 34 weeks of leave. After this, every month you work earns you 3 weeks of leave. And this stops once you've collected 52 weeks. If you've worked for 5 months full-time, you're entitled to 17 weeks of paid leave. If you work part-time at a job and you've been working there for 3 months, every month that you work after that will earn you 1 week of paid leave. Employment insurance plans is a method for paying for this policy. All insurance plans will be the same cost, regardless of your level of income. It doesn't matter who you are or who you work for. Everyone receives the same benefits. The only thing that matters is how much you work and how long you have been working at your job. The addition of this new policy will make several good things happen. The first is that production will increase. The second is that the humans will be generally happier. And the third is that the number of women in the workforce will likely increase. The following statistics show what positive outcomes can become of a paid maternity leave system. These statistics are particular to Sweden, but a similar thing may occur if the United States adopts a paid maternity leave plan. The most significant result of this new policy is that women will no longer be torn between her occupation and raising her child. Women will be allotted time to spend with their children, which is essential to healthy development. This new policy will provide a wide range of choices for new mothers and fathers. If you were to leave, fulfill someone else's dreams, I think I might totally be lost. You don't ask for no diamond rings, no delicate strings of pearls. That's why I wrote this song to sing, my beautiful girl.